Let's be honest, we all buy meat. But how often do we actually stop and think about whether we're picking the best cut or storing it the right way? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive deep and cover everything you need to know to make sure the meat you bring home is always fresh, totally safe, and tastes incredible. Let's get right into it.
Seriously, think about what's in your fridge right now. Can you say with 100% certainty that it's at its absolute peak quality? It's a tough question, right? But by the end of this, you're going to have all the tools and the confidence to answer yes to that question every single time. It all starts at the store.
All right, first up, the secrets of buying fresh meat. Because if you nail this first step, everything that follows is just so much easier. This is where you set yourself up for success.
And the best part? You don't need any fancy gadgets. All you need are your senses. We're talking about 3 key things here: what it looks like, what it feels like, and, you guessed it, what it smells like. So let's start with what you can see: the color. Color is your first and maybe your most important clue. For beef, you're looking for a vibrant, bright cherry red. If it looks a little dull, maybe a bit brownish, that means it's starting to oxidize, which is just a sciencey way of saying it's losing its freshness. For lamb, you want a nice pinkish red, and for chicken, it should always be a consistent light pink. Anything else is a definite red flag.
So whether you're team butcher or team supermarket, you've got to be a bit of a detective. At the butcher, it's all about the environment. Is the shop clean? Are the tools clean? Don't be shy, ask them what's freshest today. In the supermarket, the packaging tells the story. You have to check that expiration date. Make sure the package feels cold and is sealed tight. And here's a big one. If a package looks puffy or bloated, avoid it. That can be a sign of some nasty bacteria. Okay, so we know what to look for when we're buying. But now let's talk about the flip side, the unmistakable signs that meat has gone bad. And believe me, this isn't just about taste. This is about safety.
These are the absolute deal breakers. If that bright red beef is turning gray, or even worse, green, nope. If you open the package and get a whiff of anything sour or ammonia-like, it's a hard pass. And if the surface feels slimy or sticky, that's a classic sign of bacteria having a party you don't want to be invited to. Finally, fresh meat is firm to the touch. If it feels mushy, it's well past its prime. Your senses are your best friend here. Trust them. Let this one really sink in. This is so important. You can't just cook out spoilage. If you have even the slightest doubt about a piece of meat, don't you dare risk it. It's just not worth it. Its only destination should be the trash can. So, you've brought home that gorgeous, fresh piece of meat. High five. But your job isn't done. Now it's all about storing it properly to lock in that freshness until you're ready to cook. You know, the clock starts ticking the second you leave that checkout. That ride home is a really critical window. Every minute that meat is warming up, it's creeping into that temperature danger zone where bacteria just love to multiply. An insulated bag is such a simple tool, but it makes a huge difference in keeping things cold and safe. Okay, this chart right here, this is going to be a total game changer for your meal planning. Just look at the difference. Ground meat is only good for a day or 2 in the fridge, but you can get months out of it in the freezer, and a whole chicken can last a full year if it's frozen properly. Knowing these timelines helps you use everything when it's at its best and, of course, throw less food away. This is your 4-step ritual for perfect storage. First, pat the meat dry with a paper towel. Moisture is a playground for bacteria, so get rid of it. Second, wrap it up nice and tight to keep the air out. Third, label it. Write down what it is and the date you put it in there. Trust me, future you will be very grateful. And finally, here's the pro tip. Always, always store meat on the bottom shelf of the fridge. That way, if anything ever drips, it won't contaminate the food below it. You've done it all. You selected it, you bought it, you stored it like a pro, but you're not quite at the finish line. How you thaw your meat is the last, and I mean crucial step in the process. So you've got 3 safe options here, and it really just depends on how much time you have. The absolute best and safest way is in the fridge. You just have to plan ahead a little. If you're in a pinch, you can submerge it in cold water, But, and this is important, you have to change that water every 30 minutes. And for those, oh no, I forgot to take anything out moments, the microwave can be a lifesaver. But with one massive rule, you have to cook it immediately after it's thawed. And now, for the one thing you must never, ever, ever do. I know it's tempting, but please do not thaw meat on the kitchen counter. While the inside is still frozen solid, the outside warms up and becomes the perfect breeding ground for all sorts of nasty bacteria. It's just not safe. End of story. So we've gone on the whole journey, right from the store to the stove. Let's just quickly run through the most important takeaways one more time. It really just boils down to this simple checklist. First, when you're buying, use your senses, look for great color and texture. Second, when you're about to cook, do a final check for any weird smells or that slimy feel. And third, when you're storing it, keep it cold, wrap it tight, and slap a label on it. If you can master these 3 stages, you're going to have perfect meat every time. So let's make this real. What is one new habit you're going to start today? Maybe it's as simple as finally buying one of those insulated bags for your groceries. Or maybe you'll just put a permanent marker next to the freezer for labeling. Just pick one small thing you learned today and turn it into a habit. It can make a world of difference.